All right, we're getting into it. Sweep or sell, everybody's favorite segment. In case you're not familiar with what it is, just a really quick summary. We're going to go through the top 10 collections on OpenSea based on 24-hour volume, and we're going to just pick whether we would sweep these or we would sell these at their current prices. If my computer will load, we'll be able to see the top 10 here. Okay, cool. So, going back to what we talked about earlier, crypto dick butts. 3.87 floor price. The unique ownership wasn't as bad as I thought it was. It's 65% of people only had one of these, so that means like 35% could flip if they want to. Um, for me, I would buy these. I know I'm terrible with NFTs. I mean, with meme NFTs. I think this is one of those that like I wouldn't actually put my money into it. So I'm just trying to think from the perspective of like counter trading myself. So I'm sweeping these at 3.87 because it doesn't make much sense. Kaizen, how about you?
I'm gonna sell. I think that if you've been holding these for a year, then it'd be a really good point to take some profit. I think when we talk next week, the floor will probably be lower, but it's probably got a little bit of room to go up. But I feel like it's a good point to take some profit.
I'm selling these suckers. I love the CDBs. Don't get me wrong, but we're at an all-time high, and I'm taking my profits.
Smart men. I'm too degen apparently, but this is the thing that you would want to counter trade me on. So
Long term, you're good.
straight up. All right, number two, we got Webiverse Genesis Pass. This is a new collection. It's also been pretty hot on Twitter. I don't know too much about it. There's 12.1k supply. Ownership is a third. I think I don't know. I think they had some drop going tomorrow. I don't know if all the passes are out already or what's going on with that. Kaizen, do you know anything about this that you could share with us? I know you did a little bit of research this morning, but
Yeah, I don't know exactly what the supply is, but I do know they do have some drops coming up. Um, it's an open source metaverse that does have some VR integration, and I'm I think it kind of hits all those buzzwords to get people excited, but it's still like just another metaverse in my opinion. So I'm just gonna go ahead and say I'm selling. Like I just save your money, invest in some in real life land. Like that's the real boss move. Like I think there's a chance. I love the idea of an open metaverse, and I hope that this works. But I feel like there's like a 1% chance that it actually becomes like the metaverse.
I
Yeah,
agree.
probably less than 1%. It's a cool website. It's kind of got like some Magic Leap vibes, but I don't know anything about it, so I'm selling.
It's pricey too. Like if you're just going to take a flyer, like 0.63, like we're a little bit late in my opinion. If it was 0.08, I mean, I might have grabbed one, but I didn't know about it yet. But yeah, 0.63 is a lot to take a risk.
Yeah, I see a lot of the traditional crypto Twitter people that I used to see back in 2017, 2018, and like the DeFi crowd is mainly what I'm trying to say. They seem to gravitate to Webiverse more than some of the NFT people that were around, like in the Bored Ape circles. So I don't know. To me, I'm not as in tune with that community, so I'm already a little bit biased against it. Also, some people from Webiverse hit me up about having Apewell, having our project integrated into there, and they never got back to me. So I'm selling the fuck out of these.
Damn, they ghosted you?
Yeah. So we're gonna fade Webiverse on this
Made it.
one.
See you later.
Yeah, I'm
All
out.
right. I have not heard of this one. My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy by Beeble.
So this one is like just some generative art that's inspired by Beeple, and so obviously they just tried to make some people think it's Beeple by naming it Beeble. So I feel like that's a little bit shady, but I like the way they look. And Beeple actually like retweeted about this, saying, "Hey, look, I'm not involved, but this might actually be cool if they do this the right way."
Yeah,
And
that's
so I might get one. I was actually about to buy one. this morning. I might just get one and see what happens. I think it's 1,000 supply, and just the vibe is kind of cool. So I think I could take a risk for 0.14 or whatever it is right now.
It kind of seems like there's some kind of AI to do with this,
Yes.
like in the actual creation.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. I think I would, just for the hell of it, 0.14 floor price, I would take a flyer on this. I would probably try to flip it real quick if it does get that pump. But yeah, I would sweep.
No, this is something that you're gonna lose some money on if you buy this for sure. I'm selling.
I think at some point it would be so fun to do an episode where it's just us like making the total wrong calls on some of these things, like and just kind of laughing at ourselves, because I know that I have hot takes on some of these things, and I know I'm going to be wrong, like way wrong on some of these.
It's like we need the Post-it notes on, like, in TNT when it's like NBA Tonight and they got Chuck and Shaq on there, and anytime they make like some bold prediction, like Bucks are going to win the championship, they put it on a Post-it note and then they put the date on it, and they just like once in a while come back to these just outlandish takes.
Yeah, exactly.
We need that, or at least some way to like take our picks from the previous week and then see how they're doing just a week later and see how off we were. Because I know I've had some terrible takes on here before already.
Yeah, what is that intern, that Fiverr intern? That's another job we can put on the list for them.
Yeah,
By the way, this is not financial advice for anybody.
No.
Right.
Nope.
This is the least financial advice you could get. We're gonna skip. I mean, we talked about Lady Ape Club last week. I'm surprised it's still at 0.79. I can't remember what they were at last week. But we definitely said sell, I remember. I'm sticking with sell on these because Bored Ape derivative, any kind of derivative like this, community doesn't stay. So yeah, it's not something I would risk holding on to. What about y'all?
Yeah, I hate it. Just sell it. Like if you minted this for free and you're not taking profit at 0.79, I don't know what to tell you.
Is this? It was a free mint?
I mean, it should have been. If it wasn't, it should have been.
Yeah, I'm selling this shit for sure.
They should pay you to mint these.
Man.
Other side for 2-1. I don't know, man. I might sell those too.
215. I'm staying consistent. I've said buy every single time down from like 2.6 something, so I'm sticking with buy. Just because of my stubbornness. I'll simply buy until my investment thesis is right.
I'm selling. I think we can get under one. And
Yep.
man, what is going to happen to these floor lands when the other 100,000 lands drop? Like, I just can't see these floor ones appreciating.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm thinking about this a lot, and I feel like they're already priced in. Like everybody, it's no, private insider information that the next 100,000 are gonna get released. So I think people are already anticipating that with the prices that we see now. So yeah, I think whenever the new plots drop, there's not going to be as much of a supply or like a price change as people would think. That's my hot take on this.
And yeah, that's a good call. You might be right.
Post-it note on that sucker.
But I think the point, if you really want some of these other side lands, like you were kind of saying last week, like you can look at some of those rarer components, throw in some bids, and you could get some steals. I don't think any of these floor items are going to make you rich.
We'll keep our eye on these. I just wrote down in the post-it notes. We are going to do this. I literally have post-it notes right next to me. Other side lands are priced in at 2.12.
Priced in August 8th. Paper it.
Yeah.
We'll come back to that one in December and see where we're at.
Yeah, maybe not. We'll see how bad that ages. I'm just glad that on today's episode we're getting some differing opinions on these. I'm
Right.
loving it. Crypto punks. Let's see. 76.28. I still think they should be higher. So I'm buying these, selling them at 100.
Yeah, I'm buying. I definitely want. Yeah, punks. Again, they're just doing all this based on legacy. Like, there's no utility, there's no parties, there's no video game. Like, it's just a dope, like, legendary PFP. Like, it's always going to be. If NFTs have value, this one's always going to be near the top.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I would pretty much buy like if they're under 100, but maybe it's like try to look at it with a different take. Is the market kind of hot right now because of the Tiffany thing? Like if you do have a punk, is now a good time to sell because people are looking for the Tiffany stuff? I'm not sure. I do think they're a good value right now. But typically, I feel like when there's a lot of talk, a lot of hype, the price is up in the short term from where it could be. So if maybe these will continue to trend down just a little bit, but shout out to the punks.
Yeah. On a quick tangent, going back to the Moonbird CCO thing, I think if punks went CCO, it would go over so much better with them because people actually buy punks for the art sometimes, like the art value of them, unlike the Moonbirds. Because then if you had punks as CCO, then you could look at any of the punk derivatives and be like, okay, well this drives value back to the punks because they set the precedent that this kind of art's cool. Just random tangent thought that I've been thinking for the past couple days.
I think I agree with most of that and maybe all of it. I mean, it's just this is CryptoPunks have like the most derivatives already, right? Like there's already dozens of them, and so I think they would be least affected by that versus anybody. Like they've already been flipped and turned around and like just change the colors, and I don't know. I think they would just keep rolling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's because like they've already had such an influence over the whole space, and it's clear if they were CCO, everybody would know exactly where they came from. So, from that aspect, it would make so much more sense than Moonbirds. Kevin Rose, I don't know what you're doing, but yeah,
I'm sure he's listening, man, and he's gonna know how I feel too.
I'm gonna be on his hit list after this. All right. Moving on to number 7, the rare A Pepes. Somehow they're still staying relevant. I would be.
They're hanging in there, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they got the mutants, their version of the mutants, whatever that is called, coming up next. I think they'll probably see a pump from it, but I honestly have zero long-term hope for this community, so I would just sell at 0.25.
Selling at 0.25. Well, Daddy-O just chimed in and he's saying buy.
Hey, what up, Daddy-O?
So I don't know, 0.25. I saw a couple big sales yesterday though, like a few in a row too. So I don't know if that's they're they're getting bought on the way down or what, but I feel like I missed the boat on this one. I already had the chance to like 10x, so there's no way I would buy right now.
Yeah, sorry, Daddy-O. I would sell these two at this point. I know there's some people that have some big bags. I still regret not buying my 8 version at 0.06. I'm stubborn. I just can't buy a separate floor one for like 10x that, so or more than that. And yeah, there's whales, man. I'm happy for everybody that's making money. Like the guy that owns my ape has like 50, and so props to them. And I've been watching his wallet, man. I feel like he needs to take some profit, but people like to gamble, so good luck.
I think a lot's gonna ride on this next, whatever their mutant version ends up being like, because it seems like they're working pretty hard on art for it, and if that ends up separating, I don't know, I guess just separating a little bit further from the Bored Ape, just inspiration that these guys took, I think it'll go a long way for the collection. So to play devil's advocate, I think that's what'll help keep the momentum growing for the Ape Pepes.
And I do want to say I like it. I think it's a great concept, and they're doing everything right to this point. And I think they will get a pump from the mutant drop. But yeah, long term, I can't really see it.
All right, moving on to number 8. I'm surprised right here. So the last things in the top 10 were our good friends at Yuga Labs. We got the Bored Ape Kennel Club, Mutant Ape Yacht Club, and Bored Apes rounding out the top 10, which is surprising because they're normally top 5 for the most part. Maybe not the kennels, but at least the apes and the mutants. So kennels have been having a huge run up lately because people are anticipating the Mecha Dogs, I believe, which were posts. They were supposed to be, something launching for them sometime in August of this year. So I think that's why we're seeing this big run up right now. The floor price is 8.79. I would buy into this news, wait for the announcement, and then sell later. So I'm sweeping these. They've been this high before. I think they still got a little bit more room.
I don't know. I would typically I would be like, all right, let's buy for the exact reasons you just said. I think there's some room to run, but it's weird to see the dogs making such a run and the apes and the mutants kind of staying stagnant and even dipping just a little bit. So it almost makes me feel like there's room to run for those two, or these guys are going to come back down a little bit before they hit that spike for the Mecha Dogs. It's a tough call here, but I like the fact that they're up. So I'd be selling. I feel like we called these as a buy at like 5 or 6. I'd take my 3 profit here instead.
I actually picked up a dog last week, so just like Paper said, I'm trying to flip it, and I picked it up at 8, and so it dipped down a little bit right after I bought it. Now they've been knocking around 9, and man, I think I'm gonna try and hold on to this till 10 or 12. Like I feel like it's got legs, and whatever's happening with the Mecha Dogs on that roadmap, I would love to have a third dog just to try and time and sell the top, whatever that is. So it's not a long-term hold for me. I want to flip it. I've been burned on those before, but I'm gonna ride with it. So I guess it's still a buy for me.
Yeah, this is one of those others where it's just a pretty steady incline on the price. It looks like they peaked on the average price a few months back in April at surprisingly 12.34, which what the reason for that was, it might have just been that's when the market was peaking. But clearly, if they've sold at this much in the past, now with this announcement coming out, especially if we find out that maybe the dogs get something to make them Mecha Dogs, then yeah, I think there definitely is that room to run. Ty, did you have something else?
No, I was just gonna say it looks like a nice looking chart.
And
Yeah, I'm liking the
man,
distribution also.
distribution's great. The supply is so low compared to mutants and apes. I think we've talked about that. The on the leaked pitch deck, it says they're with the Mecha Dogs. It's a plan to monetize BAKC. So whatever that means, I think it's bullish, and we'll see, man. I think Ty, you made a good point about the price of this versus mutants. Like it's insane. It's what, about 50%?
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, it's
one.
the closest I think I've seen it in a really long time.
So my next play that I'm trying to do is move some money around and pick up a mutant. Like I feel like if we haven't seen the floor, we're really close to it. And if these dogs are pumping, like that ratio between dog and mutant just is not right.
Doesn't look right. You know what I mean?
Now you're talking my language, Kaizen, with those ratios. I'm loving it. And I totally agree. I think that's a really good segue into the mutants. It sounds like you're probably going to be sweeping these. I definitely agree with you on that. I think these have been sitting at 16 for too long. The only thing that does concern me is how much higher the mutants and the Bored Apes are trading compared to some of the other blue chip projects like Clone X. We're basically twice what mutants are, and then Azuki, Doodles, they're all kind of in the same range as well. I just think that's something to watch. It's not really as comparable just because they are different teams, different collections. they serve a different fan base basically. But yeah, in terms of the Bored Ape Kennel Club and Mutant Yacht Club, the ratio does not seem correct at all. So I'm sweeping these.
And yeah, we've talked about Clone X a lot, and of course, they have the 20K supply. So that ratio, if we're saying, hey, Mutants and Clone X are about the same, then that's pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
With Doodles, I don't know. Like, I mean, it's just that typical hype cycle, right? Like, they haven't announced anything, and maybe just people aren't really buying the whole duplicator. They're planning to like kind of go mainstream, and maybe that's what it is, or maybe it's just that typical lull between announcements. I've been wanting a Doodle. I can't get there. I just where are you guys at on Doodles?
They've been getting fudded hard on Twitter.
Yeah.
They haven't made a new tweet for a while. I'll go look them up real quick just so I can get this right. But Ty, what do you think about them?
No, I mean, I think they kind of shot themselves in the foot with the duplicator and the Genesis box in terms of, like, I feel like particularly the Doodle community was like hella against dilution, and like they were fudding like Yuga and Bored Apes for like, oh, mutants are diluting the community and beans are diluting Azuki, and like, oh, would you rather have this and that? I just feel like Doodles were so hardcore on that, like to the point where it got super annoying. And then they dropped like the fact that you can now make millions of more Doodles with like the duplicator, the Genesis box, and it's confusing. We just talked about how 10KTF is already confusing. So clearly it'd be really hard to be a part of both of those projects well. But yeah, I feel like they had a ton of momentum. They brought Pharrell into the space, and then the last day NFT NYC like added confusion and dilution to their project, and then boom, started the downward momentum, and they haven't snapped out of it. They were in the driver's seat for number 2, in my opinion. Coming out of South by, heading into NFT NYC, all the momentum to stay in that driver's seat with like number 2 blue chip, and then lost it.
Yeah, I think that's pretty similar to what's going on with Moonbirds right now. It seems like we're seeing a few of the things that people consider blue chips are falling from grace, or whatever people say. It's something interesting to watch. I think the Clone X are holding up surprisingly well compared to them, just because they're basically the same price as the Mutants right now. If you make this, actually no, never mind. I forgot Mutants are also 20K. So yeah. I think,
good call. Yeah, I missed that. But yeah, that's totally 20 and 20.
But yeah, so we've already talked about the other 2 Yuga collections. Bored Ape Yacht Club, 84 floor price. I mean, just going along with the other 2, I think there's a lot more stuff that Yuga is coming out with that they've been building for months, and we're just about to like find out what it all is. So I'm buying these. I think there's going to be a lot more announcements in the future and hype coming up for these different collections. Kaizen, what about you?
Man, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and buy. I'm in. Let's keep going, man. Let's keep pushing, and yeah, I'm excited to see what they do next.
Yeah, bye.
Simple as that.
Simple as that. Look, all these other projects are just shooting themselves in the foot, dude. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to keep everybody happy all the time, and like you definitely are gonna fail trying to do that. But like, you also don't need to get crazy with it. You know, shot like a la Doodles or some of these other projects. Like, slow and steady can win the race. You know, it's all so new. We don't need to try to hit these home runs yet. I'm buying the Bored Apes for sure, and then.